We are the Hebrew Israelites from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, and we're here to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of the Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, this is your brother Ayashah Barazal.
What's up, Barad Debar?
I'm a one Ayash.
All right, and we're here back with another installment of our camps series, For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob, and just continually going over the history of what Esau Edom has done to the 12 tribes of Israel, being on U.S. soil, and even before it was the U.S. During the colonies. All right, so we'll go ahead with the opening scripture.
Yep. This is the book of Obadiah, 1 and 10. It says, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. You see, and who is the Lord talking to, man? He's talking to Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, and we understand Jacob, okay, which is interchangeable with Israel, consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we understand that that Esau, he's had this perpetual hatred for Jake throughout all the generations. And ultimately, that's not going to go unpunished, man. The Lord's not going to look over that, man. Mm-hmm. Right, for all the wickedness, all the atrocities, all the crimes you committed against the children of Israel, and it's going to come a point in time where you have to pay for that, man.
Yep.
You know, and it says you will be cut off forever. You see, because we understand that once we're in our kingdom, and after you serve your 1,000 years of slavery, guess what, man? You as a nation, our Esau, Edom, so-called white man, y'all going to be wiped out forever, man.
Yep.
And there should be none remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, has spoken it.
Con.
Precept. This book of, it's just something that you mentioned. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 11 verse 21. Well, actually, that's later down the line. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, this article is from Britannica. It's called The Grape Swamp Fight. We will put a link to this article in the description box, as well as a supplemental article from Wikipedia and an actual video on King Philip. All right. This is The Great Swamp Fight, North American History, 1665. And it starts out, The Great Swamp Fight, critical battle of King Philip's War, fought on December 19, 1675, in which the native peoples of New England fought English settlers and their Mohegan and Pequot allies in what is believed to be the bloodiest conflict per capita in U.S. history. Sometimes called the Great Swamp Massacre, it took place in the area of West Kingstown, Rhode Island. Mutual animosity fueled by ongoing land disputes between English settlers and the Pocahontas, or the Wampanoag, and other indigenous groups in Massachusetts and Plymouth colonies erupted into open war in 1675. Chief Metacon, aka King Philip, organized Native American resistance to colonial authority. The ill-trained militia made a poor showing as attacks continued through the summer and autumn of 1675.
So the point is, like, you have native tribes with their land. Okay, they're in their land, and then you have these settlers coming in, or these people, Esau, Edom, coming into the land, and then they start to settle in certain areas, starting to eat the food, the crops, and bringing their, also bringing their diseases and just different things, changing the structure of the natives. Okay, so then whether it be how they work on the land, pushing them out, as far as certain areas and things like that. So that that brings animosity when you just encroach on someone. I think might have said that wrong. Encroach the water on someone else's property. Go ahead.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, beginning at verse 1, and it reads, Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. All right, who was devising this iniquity? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man who you saw described at the very beginning of this video. Okay, and that's, they work all through the night, devising evil. You see that today, Congress passing laws in the wee hours of the morning. So this is something that has never changed with them. And as we have said before, when it came to the demise of Jake, or the 12 tribes of Israel, the U.S. government has always been directly or indirectly involved in that demise. Okay, which is one of the reasons you got to stop begging them for reparations. From any aspect that they're not going to pay. And as far as the Native Americans are concerned, 400 treaties. They broke every single one of them. All right, and it says. Going back to Micah chapter 2, verse 1, he says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And how do we know it's in the power of their hand? That's Job 9:24. We know that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and the wicked who is Esau, Edom, according to Malachi 1 and 4. Okay, they have this power to take control of the earth. And that's what, that's what you see what they're doing, throughout our entire series. Of these videos, that's what they do. Just go in, rape, rob, murder, plunder, steal, do everything to take your land and resources.
Precept.
Okay, verse 2. And they covet fields, exactly what I just said, and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Okay,
they oppress a man and his house. Yeah, go ahead.
And one of the things how they oppress, not only as we know in history, they came up with that $5 Indian stuff for those land grabs. They forced Christianity on them as well too.
Yeah.
Okay, which wasn't it's not our heritage. Okay.
And also forcing, part of forcing the Christianity, because they said they started to set up in some of those colonies, like I guess it was spiritual houses or something like that, like to force people to learn their ways. But on top of that, it also proved that they were taking them and sending them off to the West Indies and different places. They were sending them off into captivity to show you that they further are. The native tribes are the people of the Most High.
That was a point. When you look into the doctrine of discovery, how they was slaughtering our Gadite and Reubenite brothers. Well, what happened is because our Northern Kingdom brothers, they wouldn't fall in line with their form of Christianity. They pretty much didn't consider the Gadites human.
Yep.
Pretty much that was their excuse for the slaughter that they committed against our Northern Kingdom brothers, man.
When you go into that word Indian, it means savage. And one of the movies that has been recommended throughout GMS, Goodbye Uncle Tom, you see Gadites, as part of that transatlantic slave trade on those ships, right along with Judah. All right. So yeah, the precept.
Okay, this is going to be the book of Psalms chapter 55 and beginning verse 20. It says, "He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with them. He hath broken his covenant." And that's just backing up what you had mentioned earlier about Esau breaking all those treaties with Gad. You see, because ultimately, Gad, Jake in general. Really, man, we're really not the ones to start shit, man. All right, that's Esau.
Yep.
Okay. Esau coming in to lands, approaching them as somebody who was docile, okay, harmless, things of that nature. Right, but here it is. He's warring against Jake. All right, breaking all these covenants, these agreements, man. All right, hey, that's a trait of the devil, man.
Yep.
Yep. So to your point, so keep that in mind when we read a little bit further. That one of the main points is that they started it. So then when you start to hear certain things like, oh, it was like great conflict on both sides, and they got they had so many people that died. Just keep in mind that they started the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah, and when we in that link to the Wikipedia,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you numbers on what the casualties were for each side. So,
Okay.
all right, continuing back in the article, it says mutual animosity fueled by ongoing land disputes between English settlers and the Pakanaket, the Wampanoag, and the other indigenous groups in Massachusetts and Plymouth colonies erupted into open war. Um,
Oh, it was something that you mentioned, like Chief Metacon, like he came in after his father.
yep.
So like his father kind of had more peaceable agreements,
Mm-hmm.
kind of was trying to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
But when Metacon came in, he started to see that there was like when it came down to the sales of certain items, they started finding that they were getting the bad end of the stick. You know,
Yeah.
they were getting. So Metacon was like, nah, like they're treating us far worse. You know, they actually are taking our stuff and selling it back to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not getting our fair share.
Okay.
So so that was that was a pivotal point of this war.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. It goes on. Chief Metacon,
Mm-hmm.
aka King Philip, organized Native American resistance to colonial authority.
Mm-hmm.
The ill-trained English militia made a poor showing as attacks continued through the summer and autumn of 1675. King Philip and his men eluded efforts to trap them in the coastal swamps and consistently defeated the militia companies. King Philip's success as a rebel leader brought other tribes to join him. In September, the New England colonies declared war against King Philip. Efforts to make a truce failed, and Indian attacks grew in severity, with more English towns destroyed. In December, a deserter from Philip's forces guided Governor Josiah Winslow of Plymouth and his small army through the snowstorm to a large Narragansett winter camp in the Great Swamp near Kissington, Rhode Island. The Narragansett had endeavored to remain neutral in the fight, but they refused to surrender any Pokanoket living among them. They were declared enemies by the English, who assumed without evidence that they harbored Philip as well. Man, false accusations always what he saw.
But then what? So it says Phillips. So it was someone that came from his
Mm-hmm.
that helped, right?
Yep.
So read that again.
It says efforts to make a truce failed, and Indian attacks grew in severity, with more English towns destroyed. In December, a deserter from Philip's forces guided Governor Josiah Winslow of Plymouth and his small army through the snowstorm to a large Narragansett winter camp in the Great Swamp near Kissington, Rhode Island.
Yeah. So now you have someone helping to guide against
Mm-hmm.
his own people.
An agent, an insider, as we call them, you know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I got a precept for that too.
Go ahead, bro.
This is Proverbs chapter 17, verse 15. And it reads, He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And it's like, you know, he that justifieth the wicked. That's that deserter, you know, helping Esau take out his own people. All right. And right along with him, you know, is Esau Edom. So the Lord said both of them are an abomination, and he's going to deal with them, you know. Same thing that said, let me grab that other one I was talking about. This is Sirach 13 and 1. And it reads, He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith. And pitch is pretty much tar. You know, once you get it on you, you know, it's very difficult to get off. And if you are able to get it off, it's going to take some of your skin with it. All right. That's why they used to, you know, tar and feather Jake back in the day. All right. And it says, and he that fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him. So once again, that's that one who's justifying the wicked and the ones who condemns the just. You know, you're going to be destroyed right along with him. All right.
And And so I don't know if it's going to go into that, but that same man that went to help, he actually I think he said about some days later he ended up dying or getting killed, taken out.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you know, pull Sirach 12.
Yeah,
Trust
somebody
that
can
enemy.
grab it. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 12, beginning verse 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness."
God, so iron rusted, so is his wickedness. As iron is guaranteed to rust, no matter what. Esau, Edom is guaranteed to be wicked. All right.
Now, just to say, from what I've come across, I didn't see that it was actually Esau that did it, or maybe another tribe. It could. I mean, it could have very well been, but this man, from him turning and going to Esau, they in turn got 3 men of the other tribe, you know, and executed them. You know, so of course his judgment came shortly after.
Yep.
You know.
It says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away."
God, that's the way he is. You know, a wicked. You know, like you said, he's gonna humble you. He's gonna be humble, try to mask his wickedness, but it's always there. You know, he was created to be the wicked. All right, and for Jake to, you know, trust him, you know, that was a terrible mistake. You know, because he received judgment not too much longer after that.
Right.
It says, "Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith."
God, so that's pretty much going back into those treaties. You know, he was talking about trying to have those agreements, and like I said, all of those failed. You know, for the same reason. You know, that's because he is the wicked. You know, what trust and believe. Anytime Esau makes an agreement, it's for his benefit. You know, it's so that you will have nothing. All right, he's gonna rob you of everything. That's his MO. All right, that's it.
You got more on the read?
There's more in the article.
Yeah, I'm going back to the article.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, there was a point that you had just made. Never trust thy enemy, right? Now at this point, you know, now again, there was so much in this, so we just recommend that you go back, look up either videos, read the article, because we're not gonna be able to get everything. So we're kind of giving a brush, you know, stroke of just some things that we've come across. One thing is once the colonizers, Esau, Edom, you know, once they came in and they actually got a good stronghold over taking down these tribes, a lot of them started to then give up and turn themselves in, or not even turn themselves in, but then say, okay, we'll work with you. And in the process of even doing that, many of them were still killed.
Yep.
Even though they surrendered, they were still killed, and then many of them were sent into captivity, into slavery. Actually, Menacan, his wife and son were sent into slavery after he was killed.
Con. All right, back to the article. Winslow's Puritan army arrived at the fortified camp, violating both Rhode Island's sovereignty and its pledge to remain neutral as well. 2 companies attacked the Narragansett before the rest of the army was in position. They were driven back with heavy losses. Captain Benjamin Church led another coordinated assault across the frozen swamp in which his mounted scouts broke through the log palisade. Despite fierce resistance, the fort was finally taken and set ablaze. As many as 600 Narragansett, including old people and women and children, were burned alive, which is why this incident has also been termed a massacre. Some of the Narragansett escaped through the swamp, but many of them died of exposure. Man, that sounds like Trail of Tears too. The same thing. All right. Continuing on, one of the survivors was Kenocheg, the son of Narragansett Shechem, a tribal leader, who provided the land on which Roger Williams founded Providence. Declaring his people to be members of Philip's coalition, Kenosha gathered a force of Narragansett fighters and, rebuffing Williams' offer of peace, burned Providence. They then waged a guerrilla campaign against English settlers in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts until Kenosha was captured and executed in April of 1676. All right. A monument commemorating the battle was erected in the swamp in 1906 and now stands along a hiking trail. The exact location of the Narragansett Fort is unknown, and that's the monument that you see on the screen here. All right. Losses, colonies, about 70 dead, 150 Native American, at least 150, perhaps hundreds dead, with an unknown number wounded and captured. All right.
And pretty much that's just what they said is. I mean, when you're talking about whole colonies and tribes, and then they're talking about hundreds of women and children that were also killed.
Mm-hmm.
Precept.
Go ahead.
Yep, this is going to be the book of Genesis chapter 49 and verse 19. It says Gad, which we know Gads to be the so-called Native American Indians today, says a troop shall a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And that troop is dealing with who? Esau, even the so-called white man. Okay, we go through these historic battles in between Gad and Esau. You see, in Esau, all right, he was able to claim the victory in a lot of those battles. Why? Because at the end of the day, that's prophecy that a troop will overcome Gad. Okay, but the latter says what? But he being Gad, but he shall overcome at the last. And truly, Gad is going to get his get back in the kingdom.
Yep.
Along with the other tribes of Israel, man. All right, when we put Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and the other heathen into submission, man, into slavery.
I got a precept. There's actually two of them that go back at what you just said. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, beginning at verse 19. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. All right, and that's what happened over here. Okay, because when Judah was here, Gad was already being wrecked, by the U.S. government. All right, and then it goes in verse 20. It says, but Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. So that's talking about us being in the kingdom, having immortality at that point when we will, like you said, get our get back on Esau, Edom. All right. Verse 21, it says, for I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai dwelleth in Zion. And how is he going to cleanse the blood? This is Numbers 35 and 33. And it reads, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. All right, so Esau, you shed a lot of Jake's blood over here on this land. Okay, and the only true reparations is your blood being shed, and like we said in that opening scripture, you're going to be cut off forever. All right, out of existence, and that's what they're afraid of right now. All right, got anything?
Yeah, I grabbed this in the book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 11. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity. And we know, according to Genesis, the 27th chapter, that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, was blessed with the sword. And he's done nothing but exercise that sword mainly against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this is why the Lord is not going to turn away his punishment. Okay, because when it came to Jacob, and in general, man, this dude never put his sword down, man. It's just because he did pursue his brother with the sword and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. And we read the same thing in Ezekiel the 35th chapter, verses 5 through 6, about Esau Edom's perpetual hatred and how the Lord is going to return that blood upon his own head. You see, so hey, we understand that Esau's punishment consists of the fall of Babylon, modern day Babylon, aka America. All right, him going into slavery. All right, then after Esau serves his 1,000-year captivity, all right, they nation gonna be wiped out forever.
God. All right, you got something? No, that's it. All right. So with that concludes another video on our series for violence against our brother Jacob. And once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Arkan who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be likened to the speckled bird. To you we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Baba Ball.
Baba Ball.
All right. Once again, we will put links of this of the articles and videos in the description box. Shalom.
Shalom.